Good evening, everybody. My name is Dr. Leah Hollis, and I'm the president of Patricia Berkeley, LLC, a diversity training consulting group out of Greater Philadelphia. Tonight, I'm here on the campus of St. Francis University in Loretto, Pennsylvania. It's a very exciting time as campuses started classes, and we're inviting the community, students, and administration out to hear about the intersection of diversity, innovation, and leadership. I find this to be a wonderful topic as I've done quite a bit of work in leadership and diversity studies, and I've taught at several universities. Tonight's lecture is going to look at diversity in the workplace, innovation, and how we need to be accessible and inclusive to have an innovative and creative workplace. Further things in the lecture are going to talk about how to avoid discrimination, how to avoid bullying in the workplace, and also the very costly impact on your organization if you don't prevent these trends. Will be a wonderful lecture, and I'm thrilled that so many people have come out for it. Again, my name is Dr. Leah Hollis. I'm the president of Patricia Berkeley, LLC. You can find us at diversitytrainingconsultants.com. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. This time it's my pleasure to introduce and welcome to St. Francis a distinguished author and speaker, Dr. Leah Hollis. She received her Bachelor of Arts degree from Rutgers University and her Master of Arts degree from University of Pittsburgh. She received her Doctorate of Education in Administration, Training, and Policy Studies from Boston University as a Martin Luther King Jr. Fellow. Also, Dr. Hollis continued her professional training at Harvard University through the Graduate School of Education, Higher Education Management Development Program. She also earned certification in project management and executive leadership at Stanford University and Cornell University, respectively. Further, she has earned certifications in EEO law, affirmative action, and conflict resolution, and investigation from the American Association for Affirmative Action. Dr. Hollis has served as a diversity trainer for Northeastern University, and she speaks regionally and nationally on such topics as race, gender, ethnicity, equality, and access. Dr. Hollis has also taught at Northeastern University, the New Jersey Institute of Technology, and Rutgers University. Her work has led her to research topics on women's experiences in leadership positions. She is author of the book Unequal Opportunity, Fired Without Cause, filing with the EEOC. At this time, please join me in welcoming Dr. Leah Hollis.
Good evening, everybody, and I'm really very excited to be here back in my hometown area. I know this slide is up here, and many people are thinking, gee, what is Patricia Berkeley? So let me explain that real quick before I keep going. Patricia Berkeley, LLC is a diversity training and consulting group out of Greater Philadelphia. I'm the president and founder of that group, and the point to putting such a thing together is to help organizations with leadership development, handling workplace discrimination issues, and also coaching managers and supervisors and leaders to create an inclusive and accessible environment. So what does that mean for you this evening? I'm having a lecture today on changing agents. As our world is changing, you will be a changing agent as you leave St. Francis and go out into the world. Innovators, leadership, and diversity management. So these are things we need to keep in mind as we're moving through, not just through our college education, but also going on into the workplace. Just a little bit more about me. I am a Richland grad. I won't give the year, but I was on the state championship volleyball team and really had a wonderful time there, so I have some local roots. I'm a graduate faculty in leadership studies at several universities, so much of what I discuss also relates to transformational leadership, servant leadership, and other leadership models that you should be aware of as you're advancing in your careers. I've been an educator and a lecturer for over 20 years, so I love speaking with folks of all ages because we are all learning all of the time. And I've been recognized as a workplace diversity expert on the Jim Bohannon Show, the Jim Blasingame Show. I've been a regular contributor to the Huffington Post, AOL Jobs, so you can Google me and find some lectures or some writings there. And also on PayScale, which is a magazine for HR professionals. Let's take a moment and reflect on our community, on the trajectory of our environment. And what I mean by that is that there's a certain context that leadership is taking these days. This has been the worst economy since FDR. Where we used to mine the Benjamins, now we are pinching pennies. So in this recession, there are several things that are changing in our environment and in our economy that are going to make things challenging for leaders. So for example, the state of our economy. If you followed the news over the summer, this is the first time in American history that we have lost our AAA+ rating. Something about the debt ceiling, right? And as this cartoon is showing, it's as simple as, we'll just print some more money, right? We're just going to raise the debt ceiling. But what does that do for generations behind us? What does that do to our society as we keep going further and further into debt? And this is not to make some argument about the Republicans or the Democrats. It's just the state and the context of our economy. In July, unemployment was reported at 9.1%, which is 2 points higher than when Gerald Ford was in office. And also, this is the reported number. There are numbers in cities of LA, New York, Chicago, for some groups of people that is rising to 20%. 9.1% also is the reported unemployment rate. It is not the underemployed, and is not those who have run out of unemployment. So as you're a leader, from whatever position you're at, this is the context that we're working with. Foreclosures. Wow. 1 in 611 homes is facing foreclosure. What does this mean? Well, if you're an educator, what this means is that you don't have the tax base in your community. That means that salaries for teachers might be different. If you're at a public institution, you're finding that the state might cut your funding because so many schools, so many communities do not have the money to fund their education. And as a leader, you will be recruiting people from those experiences, and you will also be working in communities that are struggling financially. What does this mean for contemporary leadership? We're asking leaders to be bigger, badder, brighter, stronger, put your cape on and leap tall buildings with a single bound. We're asking you to be magicians, to be creative and agile, despite the fact that the economy is the worst that it's ever been, and despite the fact that our institutions are stretched out further than they ever have been. But let me tell you a story about innovation. And this is a story that hits close to home for any of you who know anything about Johnstown, Pennsylvania, and the local area. When my folks first moved to this area in 1975, Bethlehem Steel was king. Bethlehem Steel from 1857 to 2003 was the largest, second largest steel producer. And, interestingly enough, Bethlehem Steel has roots to Loretto, Pennsylvania. Charles Schwab went to school here when it was St. Francis College. He attended here for 2 years before he went off to Pittsburgh to make his millions. So if we think about the history of Bethlehem Steel, in its heyday was making a warship a day. A warship easily is 5 football fields, correct? They were cranking out a warship a day in the 40s. And think about the labor and the infrastructure that's required to do that. Johnstown itself was its hub for the rails. Bought in 1923, all of the rail cars made for Bethlehem Steel were coming through our local area, which is why our community so relied on Bethlehem Steel. But it's not just about local. If you travel this great country of ours, you will find it dotted with Bethlehem Steel icons. In 1937, the Golden Gate Bridge was built and was the largest suspension bridge of its time until the Verrazanos Bridge was built sometime later. And if you ever complain about the turnpike tolls, the steel for this bridge was made in Pottstown, Pennsylvania, put out in the Atlantic Ocean, sent through the Panama Canal at a toll of $1 million in 1937, and all the way to California. Bethlehem Steel also built the Ben Franklin Bridge. George Washington Bridge is a product of Bethlehem Steel. The Chrysler Building, at its time, was the tallest building ever built, Bethlehem Steel, only to be outpaced by the Empire State Building, also a product of Bethlehem Steel. Madison Square Garden, Bethlehem Steel. Rockefeller Center, where the NBC does its broadcasting, Bethlehem Steel. You're getting the point. They were king. And in 1936, it was Bethlehem Steel that provided hydroelectric power to California, Arizona, and Nevada. And it is an amazing landmark. If you ever have a chance to see the Hoover Dam, it is just an amazing piece of architecture.